I love the Olympics. Love everything about it. I know this year's a little bit weird, right, with no fans and all that stuff. But if you think about what it takes to be an Olympian, right? These people are committing hour after hour after hour after day after day after year just for this moment, right? For some Olympians, like this is the only Olympics that they will ever get to compete in. You know, I think we get used to with some of our favorite athletes, whether it's swimming or gymnastics or sprinting, right? We see them in 2, 3, 4, 5 different Olympic games, but to just have one game, like one time you make it to the Olympics, but the amount of time and effort and energy and hours and sacrifice and commitment it takes to get to that point is pretty incredible. And it's not even, you know, there's no guarantee they're going to win, right? They're putting in all this time and effort and energy, all of this saying no to good things, saying no to normal life things in order to say yes to this commitment, to say yes to their craft, to saying yes to giving themselves a chance to compete at the highest level against the best in the world and not even win. Because for them, like, yes, the outcome matters. Like, you want to win, you want to get a medal, but all that work is still worth it, right? Regardless of the outcome, regardless of whether or not they medal, regardless of whether or not they win or even finish in the games, like it's about getting to that moment. It's about who they became along the way. And the sacrifices that they make, they will all tell you that it was worth it. And I think about us, like, we don't have time to spend 10 minutes working on our mindset each day. We don't have 30 minutes to commit to investing and connecting with our team and our people each day. We don't have a little bit of time each day to work on our own personal health. We don't have time each day to work on our own leadership and our own self-awareness. Like, there's no guarantee that that all of our leadership stuff is going to work out, that our culture is going to absolutely get better, that relationships are going to be what they should be. But we should always be committed to doing the work, right? The work is always worth it regardless of the outcome, because it's about who we are becoming along the way. So there's a commitment, right? We're not chasing Olympic gold, but our goals, our visions, our dreams, they still demand our best effort. And so what does sacrifice look like for us? What does commitment look like for us based on who we're trying to become as a leader, as an individual, as a team, as an organization, as a family? What does commitment look like for you? And are you actually willing to do the hard work? Are you willing to say no to some good things in order to say yes to becoming a better leader? Yes to building a better mindset. Yes to building a better culture. Are you willing to say yes to the right things, to commit when it isn't convenient, right? Because the life that these Olympians lead, like, it's not a convenient life. They have to be strict with their workouts, strict with their diet, strict with their sleep, strict with everything. And it's not like it's an extremely profitable life for a lot of these athletes. Right? A lot of them are just scraping to get by, but that's not what they're about. But they're willing to do the work. They have that vision. They believe in that vision. They commit to the process, and then they show up every day and they do the work. That's what it looks like to have an Olympian's mindset. I want to show you kind of what this looks like practically. I want to give you an actual visual of this. So Tracy, if you can pull up the first picture, this is Sifan Hassan, and she's a long distance runner. And this is, I think, the quarterfinals. This was yesterday of the 1,500 meter run. And you notice she's on the ground. Final lap, she's on the ground. And the thing about this is she had another event later on, the 5,000 meter. And it was for the medal. So this is just a qualifying run. She had a 5,000 meter event later on in the day, later on in the evening, that was actually for a medal. So in this moment, she has a choice, right? It would have been convenient for her to say, you know what? I'm out. I fell, not my day. You know, things aren't going well. No worries. I'll just back up and I'll refocus my energy and my effort, my mindset on my race later on, where I'm actually going for a medal, right? And nobody would have faulted her, right, if she had done that. But she worked to get to this place. She was committed. Said, yeah, this isn't going my way. Yeah, I'm on the ground right now. I'm laying on my back on the final lap. And you have an opportunity in that moment. You have a choice to make. Like, what are you going to do? Are you going to back out? Or are you going to keep going? So Tracy, go to the next slide. If you notice, Sifan she won. She was more than 100 meters behind the leader. And she got up, said, I don't know if I'm going to win. I don't really care if I win. I'm going to finish. I'm going to give it my best. It's not convenient, but I'm committed. She needed to be in the top 6 in order to advance, right? And so again, she had a 5,000 meter event coming up that evening. The last thing she wanted to be doing was going to an all-out sprint in this event, right? She needed to be conserving her energy. Like, no, I'm not about conserving my energy. If I'm in the race, I'm giving it my best. No matter the outcome, I'm going to give it my best. And so she gets up 100 meters behind the leader and she sprints. And the announcers, go find the video online. It's on YouTube under the NBC Olympics account. They're like, oh my goodness, here she comes. If anybody can do it, it's her. Like, they know that she's that elite of an athlete, which I think also speaks to what would people say about you when you trip and stumble and fall? Do they expect you to quit? I say, man, if anybody's going to get up, it's going to be him. If anybody's going to come back from this setback, it's going to be her. Right? Is that how people talk about you based on the way that you live and lead? Are you someone who commits to overcoming obstacles even when it's not convenient? So Sifan Hassan, she wins this heat, which lets her advance, right? She gets to keep moving on, but then she comes back in the 5,000 meter event later on in the evening and wins gold. Right. So she could have said, I'm going to save my energy. She wouldn't even have moved on in the 1,500, but she moved on in the 1,500 and she won gold in the 5,000. That's what Olympians do. Right. She worked for this moment. Like, it's not going my way. This isn't going how I expected. This is not an obstacle I thought I was going to be facing. That's okay. I'm going to get up and I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep running. I'm going to finish the race. I'm going to finish the race that I started. I'm going to give my best because it demands that of me. That's the kind of person that I am. And again, if she would have quit, that's okay. It's not that she would have been wrong. It would have been a reasonable thing to do. But to have the resilience, to have the commitment, to have the grit, to have the kind of mindset that says, I'm still going to get up and go. And whatever is in me, like, I'm bringing it all. I'm getting up and I'm not just going to finish the race. I'm going to sprint to the finish line and see what happens. And she won. So I think it's this is one of my favorite moments ever in Olympics, right? To fall down, to be counted out, and to still get up and not just finish, but to win. It's like, what does that look like in our life? We're not facing these types of obstacles, right? We're not in the Olympic Games tripping and falling 100 meters behind the leader for something we've worked for our entire lives. We just have maybe some difficult relationships. We just have an apology that we need to give to someone. We just need to work on our mindset. We just have a hard sale that we have to close. We have a tough opponent that we have to practice for, right? We have to keep things in perspective. Most of us are not facing these types of obstacles, but we still face obstacles. And we have a choice in how we respond. And if you've not put the work in until you got to that obstacle, right, that's when you bail. Right? That's the thing with Sifan, right? We talked about earlier, she's put in the work, she's sacrificed, she's committed. And so it wasn't an option. She's like, I'm going to do what I do. But when we hit those obstacles in life and we're not prepared, we haven't done the work, those obstacles, we get overtaken by those obstacles. Those obstacles end up taking us out. But it's like, no, this is who I am. I expect obstacles, even if I don't know what they're going to be. And so when I hit them, I'm going to go over them, go around them, work through them, whatever it may be. I'm going to get to the other side of this obstacle. That's the mindset of an Olympian. That's the mindset of commitment over convenience. Like, and that's how we make an impact, and saying whatever the outcomes are, we can't control. So to not be defined by outcomes, but be committed to giving our best in the moment, because that's who we are. Win or lose, close the sale, don't close the sale, restore the relationship, don't restore the relationship, whatever it may be, we are committed to bringing our best to everything that's in front of us, to being committed, to have a mindset of grit, a mindset of resilience, a mindset of not giving up. Right? I think most of the time what separates the greats is not necessarily talent. And this is sport or business or education or healthcare, whatever it may be. It's not talent necessarily that separates the greats. What separates the greats from the rest is just a level of commitment. Right? They just keep showing up. And that consistency builds strength. That consistency builds character. That consistency builds endurance. That consistency builds confidence. When you have that, when you hit those obstacles, then you just keep going. So do you have a mindset of commitment, or do you have a mindset of convenience? right? We show up when it's convenient. We show up when it's easy. We show up when things are going our way. And when things get hard, when things get difficult, when things get uncomfortable, then we bail. We turn and go the opposite direction. So I think for us to consider, like, obviously, like I said, we're not running after Olympic gold. Those of us on this call, maybe you are, right? Maybe there's an Olympian or a future Olympian watching the Monday Mindset. But most of us aren't running after Olympic gold, right? We're just running after a life of significance. We're trying to be better leaders. We're trying to be better teammates, trying to build better organizations, trying to be better spouses and partners and parents and friends. And we're going to face obstacles as well. But if we have a vision of who we want to be, right? We want to be this kind of person. Well, that demands our best effort. That demands our best commitment. Are we willing to be that kind of person? Thoughts, Tracy? Thoughts? Anyone else in the comments?
Yeah, I don't see any other comments, but wow, I kind of had a lump in my throat when I was looking at those pictures. I mean, you think about the level of personal responsibility and no excuses mentality that she had. No one, she wasn't waiting for someone to pull her up. She just got herself back up and did it. No excuses, and incredible.
And we would have been talking about her even if she didn't win, right? It's like we've seen the stories. Yeah. I don't remember when this was. I'm pretty sure it was in Olympic Games. Would have been several years ago of a young man falling. I think it was his dad, like, came out of the stand, right? Like, helped him across the finish. It's like we would have been talking about her regardless. The outcome kind of makes it that much sweeter, especially in going and getting gold that evening. But yeah, to the point, like, she got up and she finished. Yeah. Right. It's like that kind of mindset. Because also, I think if I'm her, one, I'm frustrated. I'd be extremely embarrassed. Right. You trip and fall. Now, thankfully, there's no fans there, so it makes it a little bit easy, but there's still people around. Like, I would just be embarrassed. Like, if I'm going on a run in my neighborhood and I trip, I haven't fallen, thankfully. But if I trip, like, I feel dumb. Like, I'm sure somebody's like sipping their morning coffee, watching me look like an idiot, tripping down the road. But there's a level of shame and embarrassment. It's like, no, I'm just going to get up. I don't care. This is to know who you are, that identity. Like, no, I get up and I finish.
Yeah. Wouldn't you love to know the thoughts of the women around her?
Oh, man.
Because the ones out ahead didn't even know she fell, probably.
Right.
The ones around her did. And man, and then to see her come back and win, that's incredible.
Yeah, to watch her pass you by, knowing that she fell, watching her then pass you by. It's like, wait a minute. She was, and then if you're the others in the race, eventually to turn, like, to see the replay, like, oh man, maybe I should have given a little more. I thought I had this in the bag, and like, she, not only did I lose, like, she was 100 meters behind me. It's stuff like that. Like, it's just, for me, those are some of my favorite moments. Seeing people overcome those obstacles. We saw it in swimming. We had a guy who was like significantly behind. I don't remember the specific race it was, but we had a U.S. guy like was way behind and just kicked it in on the last lap and finished. Like, those things, like, it's just. You got to dig deep. I was like, those are the moments where you actually find out what you're made of, right? It's and so for those of us, like, again, we talked about it 1,000 times on the Monday Mindset. Like, you're going to face adversity, you're going to face obstacles. Be who you say you are. Right? That's when your values actually come to life. That's when your standard actually comes to life. Is in those moments of adversity. Like that's culture isn't built in adversity; it's revealed. Character isn't built in adversity; it's revealed. And so to be. You have to do the work ahead of that moment, right? You have to be committed before that moment in order to be committed in that moment.
Absolutely. Yeah, we actually have a question coming in. It says, where should we start to create a mindset of discipline?
Oh, that's a great question. Where should you start? I think it's realizing you have a choice every day. And so I would start with one thing, right? Don't get overwhelmed. It reminds me, I don't know, Tracy, if you have this nearby, but the change equation. It's when we talk about creating change, we talk about discipline, we talk about mindset, we talk about being a better leader, building healthy, whatever it is, right? Fill in the blank with what your vision is, what your goal is. It can be overwhelming. It's like, well, I can't do all that today, so I'm going to do nothing today, because we believe the lie that, like, we have to do it all in this moment. I think it's getting clear on what that vision is, and what's the natural next step. Like, you don't have to do everything. So what's, if you want to get healthy, for example, This example I use with teams a lot. So let's say I want to get healthy, but my family culture is that we eat out all the time. Like 4 nights a week, we eat out. We have unhealthy snacks in our house. I don't go to the gym, and my wife and I watch Netflix until midnight every night. Right? If that's our family culture, I'm never going to get healthy, right? Because the behaviors, the habits that I need are the exception and not the standard. But I can start, and I'm not going to overhaul that in a day, but I can start to make a better lifestyle by making a better choice every day. So you may not be able to flip your diet fully, right, in 24 hours or 48 hours, but what do you usually eat for breakfast? Okay, we'll trade up and eat something better today. The natural next step would be eat something better for breakfast. The natural next step would be to go for 1 walk a day, right? 10 minutes. I'm not talking an hour. Go 10 minutes. And so get simple wins, because I think the 2 things that you need when you're trying to change habits or create discipline is confidence and momentum. And so you get 1 win. So get a win today, right? Again, and don't minimize small wins, right? Don't despise small beginnings. Small wins are still wins. Small steps are still steps. So get a win today. And then when that doubt kicks in tomorrow, like, I don't know if I can do it. Like, no, I did it yesterday. I did it. Like this thing I did it. I can do it again today. I have confidence I can do it today because I know I did it yesterday. Okay. Now 2 days in a row, now you're starting to build momentum to go with that confidence. And so again, you just start to, like, small decisions compound, right? And that discipline compounds, that consistency compounds. And so it's making 1 good decision each day. Eventually you can build on that decision. Like I stole this from one of our giants, Jordan Mitchell, probably 2.5, maybe 3 years ago. I start every day with a glass of water. Like, and it's like that's to make a good choice. The first thing in the, like, I walk downstairs, the first thing I do is drink a glass of water. It's like, hey, you made a good choice. You started the day off with a win, and then I can build from there. So I think it's just getting 1 win each day. What's the natural next step based on your vision? So get 1 win today, and then get another small win. Like, small wins add up. Like that's progress. Like, we see the big peaks and like the trophies and the awards. Like, no, progress is the small wins adding up. And so go get a small win every single day, whatever it takes, because again, you have a choice, right? I saw a video this morning from John Gordon, who's an author and speaker. He said, here's the secret to how I've written 24 books. He said, I wake up in the morning and I write. He goes, I have a choice of what I do with my day. He goes, I can choose email. I can choose social media. I can choose to turn on the TV. He goes, I can choose a lot of things. He goes, but if I need to write a book, I need to write a book. He goes, so I make the choice to write. And he goes, and if I do that every day, he goes, in 3 to 4 weeks, I have a book. Because if I choose social media or email, because I'm not going to write at all that day, I know I'm going to go down a rabbit hole and get distracted. He goes, so I choose what I need to get done. I make that my priority. I do that first. So I think it's realizing that we have the power of choice to build that discipline in. And don't believe, if you're like me, who's said for my whole life, I'm not a disciplined person. It's like that's a lie. I don't care what your personality is, what your voice is in 5 voices. Like, you can be a disciplined person. It's a choice.
That's right. Well, and this is a whole nother episode, but you mentioned that you taught Sunday on accountability, and it's another component is tell people, hey, I'm trying to become more disciplined. So here's what I'm going to start with. I think for me, if I tell people what I'm doing, I don't want to let people down. I don't want to be somebody who just says things and so a little bit of accountability helps as well. So.
Yeah. There's an updated version, or maybe I just added to it, of the change equation where it adds an A, allies to walk alongside you. It's like, as you're trying to run this race or become, like, to Tracy's point, who can help you? Who can hold you accountable? Maybe it's who wants to run the same race. Yeah. Right. So you're not running it alone. Like, not just someone encouraging you, holding you accountable, but someone you can actually do that with, if it's health, if it's whatever it may be. But who are allies who can walk alongside you to help keep you on the path. Because if you're trying to make a commitment to building a more disciplined mindset, you're going to have every distraction, obstacle, thing thrown your way. I mean, like, I will guarantee it. It's like, if I go sign up for the gym, my Instagram feed is now going to be filled with ads for unhealthy food. It's like the world knows that I'm now trying to get healthy. Like, and so it's the same thing when you're trying to build a disciplined mindset and be more consistent. All of a sudden, all these obstacles are going to come your way. And it's hard to battle those things alone. Like it just is. Even I would say Sifan Hassan, that Olympian, like that was a choice in the moment. She's gotten there by having a team around her, right? That's an individual thing, but she got there by having a team who supported her, who challenged her, who held her accountable to help her develop not just her athletic skill, but also her resilient mindset. And so we always need people to walk alongside us to help us out.
Absolutely. Well, great word. Our time is up, and we thank you. That was fun. That will make me even more excited to watch tonight, whatever's next on the Olympics. So thanks, Kevin. Thanks, everyone, for joining us, and we will see you all next Monday.
See you guys.